This video today is on editing your payroll form to include the premium, overtime, hours, and amount. Some important highlights is first you must have Service Pack 9 for 2024 or Service Pack 2 for 2025 installed in order to have the fields available to add to your form. You must also enter qualified overtime on your time card with a shift equal to 6. When an item is entered with a shift equal to 6, that designates to the program that it is overtime that you have deemed qualified, and it will show up on your payroll check forms in these fields a year-to-date amount and a year-to-date hours totals. We're also going to look at a live demonstration on editing the form and verifying your time card entries. Let's go ahead and take a look at the live demonstration. To edit an existing form in Sage BusinessWorks to add the new overtime fields, select Payroll, Utilities, Maintain Payroll Forms. Select the form you wish to edit. We're going to edit the paycheck dual stub rate allow. And what forms you choose to add to your form and where you choose to place the items is completely up to you. As you see, with most forms, we're working on very minimal space that we have to work with. So you might have to move things around or even clear things off your form if you don't use them any longer. So what I'm just going to do is move that over a little bit, and we're going to try to add it in right here. There's two types of fields you can add to the form. One is one that pulls from the database, and that's these fields right in here across the top. They're all the DB ones. And then there's the other fields which you basically enter in the text for or choose one of our existing system variables. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to enter a DB text field, and this is going to allow us to pull in amount of overtime that the employee was paid year to date. We're going to add that field. Click to where we added on the form, and then you'll notice here this white box becomes available for the data field. We're going to drop that down, and we're going to scroll down and sit till we see check stub non-taxable amount, overtime amount year to date. This is the amount of overtime pay they have received. It's the 0.5 portion of the overtime in the year to date. So this amount here is the amount on one specific check. This amount here is year-to-date amount. This item is the number of hours that they've been paid overtime that were entered with that shift equal to 6. And this is the year-to-date hours that were entered with the shift equal to 6. In this example, we're just going to add the year-to-date fields onto the form. So we'll choose the non-taxable overtime amount year-to-date. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a label in front of that field. So we're going to click the label field over here on the left-hand side. Then we're going to click to add it to the form. And then up here where it says label 32, we're going to click on that and we're going to call it, in this case, I'm just going to call it premium overtime year to date. Year to date. So we have to make a little space, and you make a little space by clicking on the field and dragging it over. So you're going to click on the field and drag it to where you want it to be. So we're going to add that year to date, and we're going to snug it right up underneath the other fields there, and then we're going to do the same with the amount. And what we always want to do is make sure that the fonts kind of staying the same and the box sizes are staying the same. So once that's been added, we're going to do the same. We're going to go ahead and add a DB text field. We're going to click to where we want that on the form. We're going to line that up where we want it to line up. Then we're going to use the drop down, go to the no tax section, and then we're going to choose the overtime hours for year to date. And then we're going to do the same. We're going to create a label. We're going to place it up next to it. You can move the fields around as you wish to kind of make it look how you would like it to look. Everything's kind of a click and a drag. So if you want to click the entire the field to drag it to move it, you can. We're going to call this premium overtime hours. And again, that's just the hours that you're entering with the shift 6. On a time card, you have them have 10 hours of overtime and it's all qualified overtime and you entered it with the shift 6, it's going to add 10 to the year-to-date total. Let's say you want to bold these items, you can highlight it, and up here at the top you can choose to bold, italicize, however you'd like to have that display on the form for you. And then let's say I want to now take this and I want to copy these fields and put them on the bottom stub. What you're going to do is you're going to use your mouse, you're going to click your mouse and you're going to drag it over the 4 fields you want to copy so that they're selected. So you can see there's a kind of a faint blue line there that's showing me that the fields are selected. Once I let go of my mouse, the gray boxes will appear around each of the fields. I'm going to go up here to edit. I'm going to go to copy. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom portion of my form where I want to place those. Again, I might have to move things around to get it to where I can add it. I'm going to select my fields. I'm going to go to edit and copy. Then I'm going to click out of that and I'm going to go to edit and paste. It's going to paste the fields directly on top of what's already there. You can then use your mouse to click and drag those fields to separate them, so you'll now see 2 copies of the fields. You can then drag this down to wherever you need to add it to on the form. In my case, we're going to have to get down into the bottom stub, so I kind of put it in a check as a holding place. And then I move down to the bottom stub. I'll go where I want to add that to the form, and then I'll drop it there. And I've now got it on my top stub and my bottom stub. The key with this is you always want to preview your form after you've made a change and make sure that it only shows page 1 of 1 and it didn't bounce any of the information onto a second page. If you like everything that you've done, you can go to form, and again, if it's a customized form, you'll have a save option. If you're in one of our standard forms, there'll only be a save as option, and that's when you can give it whatever name you'd like. It just can't start with the year, so you could say detailed OT check and then hit OK. And then now that check form is going to be available, and it's available in any company that you have. So if you go to payroll and processing and go to print your payroll checks, right underneath here where it says selected form, we're going to click on that and then we'll see our detailed overtime check. So when we go to print this check, any time card that we've entered that has the overtime as shift 6 will enter into that year-to-date field. As you can see now, after we've printed our checks, we now have the premium overtime year-to-date showing that they've had 4 hours of overtime, and that 4 hours of overtime generated them $18 of the premium overtime amount. One thing I also like to do when entering time cards is after entering a time card, I like to verify that the time card entry was successfully entered with all my overtime equaling shift 6. To do that, after I've entered my time cards, I go to payroll, processing, print time card entries, and select current. I preview the report to the screen. I then make sure that anytime I see the word overtime in the earning type, that my shift is equal to 6. So as you see here, I have overtime for Aikens, shift equal to 6. And if I scroll down, I also have overtime for Susan Jones. This one was double time, and that was also equal to a shift equal to 6. So once I've verified that all my employee time cards that I entered had the correct overtime shift, I now continue with my automatic payroll calculation. And that concludes our live demonstration.